My own daughter didn't invite me to her wedding, not even a seat tucked away in the last row. Yet when it came time for her honeymoon, she and her new husband had the audacity to demand the keys to my beach house. That was the moment I realized, if they wanted to cut me out of their lives, then I'd let them experience exactly what that felt like. If you've ever been dismissed, disrespected, or longed for that perfect taste of poetic justice, stick around. Hit the subscribe button, drop a like, and share your own stories of revenge in the comments below. Because today's story? It's going to give you that sweet rush of satisfaction. I never imagined I would be the kind of parent left out of my own child's wedding. You spend years raising someone, teaching them, sacrificing sleep and money, standing by them through every storm, only to discover you've been erased from one of the biggest moments of their life. That was me. A mother sitting quietly, waiting for an invitation that never arrived. Instead, I learned about the wedding through distant relatives. My daughter had walked down the aisle without me there to witness it. No photo, no phone call, not even a single text message. At first, I wondered if I had done something so terrible that it made me unworthy. My chest tightened, my hands shook, and I replayed every disagreement we ever had. I thought about the countless nights I stayed up helping her with homework, the heartbreaks I held her through, the costumes I sewed for school plays. After everything, she still chose to shut me out. The betrayal felt like a punch to the gut. It wasn't only grief, it was shame. Family members whispered questions about why I wasn't at the ceremony. Some looked at me like I was to blame. Imagine being cast as the villain in your own child's story. But the story didn't end there. A week after the wedding, my phone rang. It was my daughter. My heart leapt. I thought maybe she was calling to apologize, to patch things up. But no. She wasn't calling to mend anything. She was calling to ask for something. Hi, Mom. So, we're planning our honeymoon, and we were thinking of using your beach house. It would save us so much money, and it's the perfect spot. You don't mind, right? Her voice was casual, cheerful, even entitled, as though nothing had happened. I froze, gripping the phone so tightly my knuckles went white. Anger rose in my chest, not just from the request but from the sheer audacity of it. No invitation to her wedding, no acknowledgement of the pain she'd caused. But now suddenly, I was useful again? I wanted to yell, to ask how she could possibly think this was acceptable. But instead something colder settled over me. Clarity. If she wanted me cut out of her milestones, then she could learn what that really meant. That night, I sat at my kitchen table and wrote out a plan. Revenge didn't need to be loud. It only needed to be deliberate. The beach house wasn't just a building. It was my refuge. A 2-story cottage by the ocean, weathered with sun bleached by years of summers, with wide glass windows and the sound of crashing waves just beyond the porch. I had worked decades to afford it. Every corner of that place carried a memory. It was mine, and it was never going to be hers. The next morning, I called her back. Sweetheart, I said, coating my words with sugar, the beach house won't be available. It's already booked. She hesitated. Booked? But it's your house. Yes, I answered smoothly. And I decided to rent it out. A lovely couple already put down a deposit for those exact dates. Of course, that was a lie. Nobody had rented it yet. But the silence on the other end of the line, the sound of her entitlement collapsing, was worth it. What? Mom, seriously, we need this. We already told people we'd be staying there. Her tone shifted from cheerful to demanding, but I didn't waver. I'm sorry, I said, feigning regret. If I wasn't important enough to be at your wedding, then my house isn't important enough for your honeymoon. I'm sure you'll find another option. The silence that followed was heavy. Then came the explosion. Accusations, insults, guilt-tripping. She even tried to say I was sabotaging her marriage before it had begun. But here's the truth. When someone has disrespected you so completely, when they only acknowledge your existence when it benefits them, their words lose all power. I hung up. And for the first time since learning I wasn't welcome at her wedding, I felt peace. Later, I actually did list the beach house for rent. An older couple booked it for the exact week my daughter had wanted. When she eventually found out through mutual friends that strangers were enjoying her honeymoon spot, she was furious. And me? I was on my porch, glass of wine in hand, listening to the waves, smiling. Because boundaries are not cruelty. Sometimes the sweetest form of revenge isn't shouting or fighting. It's simply refusing to be used. The most satisfying part wasn't denying her the house. It was reclaiming my power. She had tried to erase me, to make me invisible until it was convenient. But I showed her that I cannot be erased. And I certainly cannot be summoned only when she needs something. Her tantrum over the phone proved it. For once, she was the one feeling excluded, powerless, unwanted. And that was poetic. She had given me that pain. Now she got to feel it too. That was justice. Because revenge isn't always about striking back. Sometimes it's about standing your ground, drawing that line in the sand, and letting others face the consequences of their own choices. And let me tell you, wine on your porch while the ocean roars nearby? It tastes an awful lot like freedom. So what do you think? Was I right to refuse my daughter's request, or should I have given in? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoy stories where justice comes with a twist of irony, make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video. Until next time, stay sharp and stay true.